Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Vampire Slave. So, last time, what exactly did happen last time? Maybe if I scroll back, that's going to help me jog my memory. Oh, that's right, Thalos, went ahead and willingly turned himself into the vampire hunters and became a slave to Dusty and I guess Dusty's dad, sort of, maybe? I'm not sure. Either way, I'm pretty sure Thalos is gonna help Dusty track down that one vampire that's killed 100 people every night. I forget his name already, but he's gonna help track them down. And, so let's go ahead and get into this episode. Where's Johan? Oh, Johan's his name, obviously. I don't know. You sired him, didn't you? There's no connection between a vampire and their sires. They aren't like familiars. Then what effing use are you? I may have a contact who knows where he is. A vampire? Call them. I've yet to meet a vampire who will share something so easily traced as a phone number. They're scared of you, and they must be scared of Johan. I have some email addresses, but likely no one will communicate about him on record. I love this. We're gonna send out a chain email. Oh god. Do you want to think about this vampire Johan who's been killing 100 people every night? Please reply. There's a gala Wednesday in Laos. Your new Blood Hotel grand opening, right? Yes. The bare concrete cell gives me hope. The last cell they put me in had crosses on the walls, floor, and ceiling. Are we going to be able to mobilize that fast? Looks like we have to. You need to guarantee amnesty to any vampire that helps us. F off, Strix. Strix? No one calls me by that name. He's been reading ancient texts about me, studying me. If any of your contacts are killing people, we're dusting them, period. None of the vampires I associate with kill people. But he already knows this. Let's get started on this. Just a moment. Dalton approaches the bars of my cage. It's not within him to exit without making a final threat. Stay out of Dusty's head. You mess with him and I'll tattoo a crucifix to your face. I shudder at his creativity. Yes, sir. May I ask a question? What the F do you want? What about school, Dusty? Aren't you going to graduate? That's none of your effing business. The pause, however brief, tells me I struck a nerve. I'm asking to make sure Luca and our staff are still safe. Certainly not because I'm concerned about Dusty's future. No, it's not. But I've lost a chance to graduate. Your kind has destroyed my future. Have I really? You're graduating. After we take out Johan, you're going back and finishing up. Good. That implies there will be a school to go back to. If we take out Johan... Oh, we're getting that son of a bee. You can count on it. I curl up on the mattress on the floor. Rest was a luxury I knew not to take for granted while in the custody of Jagarin. They'd once attempted to kill me through sleep deprivation. It sounds absurd, but they'd tried nearly everything else. It hadn't worked, but it did drive me mad. Apparently I became so depraved I frightened workers. They relented. I realized what a blessing sleep had been to my existence. It broke the eons into bite-sized chunks. Whenever I was at my most miserable, I'd remind myself of how fast a night would pass. Surely I could endure just one more. When I couldn't, there were the deeper slumbers, buried far below the ground, too deep for the mortals to disturb me for 100 years, 1,000 even. I'd slept through the beauty and wonder of ancient Greece. Delore, one of my most ancient sires, never let me forget this. But what is beauty to weary eyes? What is existence to one who's seen eternity? It took no less than eternity to accept my immortality. I found my religion, the thing that would light my path forward and forever grant me hope. Love, the thing that can spark even a dead man's heart. Without love to carry me, I would be buried deep, and in a sleep like death, hoping that this time, somehow, I would never manage to awaken. Yet here I am, a prisoner to my cruelest enemies, spat on by the object of my infatuation. And yet I am riveted. I know a hope so clear one would think my feelings were reciprocated. Oh, my dear Dusty, you've granted me new purpose. I must have fallen asleep deeply, because when I awoke, it was with a jolt of panic. Operatives came to get me, but in my mind I was back in my penthouse, and they had invaded once more. I was already halfway down the corridor before I had my bearings. Ah? Hello. They placed me at the foot of a conference table with 2 guards stationed behind me. I hazarded a glimpse towards Dusty. Deep wells beneath his eyes told me he'd been asleep as I slept. Wait. That he'd been awake as I slept. What? What's wrong with me? Keep your hands on the table where you can see them, vampire. I comply with a jangling of my shackles. Most of you are unfamiliar to me. I am Thalos, the first and most ancient vampire. And you? We know who you are. Maybe some introductions would be appropriate. The woman said this. I already like her. Oh, I put on the best woman voice I have. The less he knows, the better. This was from the man seated next to Harrison. He attempts to hide his fear of me with outrage. I wonder if he too has studied ancient texts of me, the ones that describe me at my most heinous. We have to work with him, starting on my left, General Dalton, second in command, Brigadier Davis. She shares the third in command rank with Brigadier Harrison on my right, and Brigadier Martinez beside him. I would remember Martinez as the coward. I'm grateful to Dusty for the introductions, but dare not thank him. Let's get started. Just a moment. Just a moment. I'd like to formally protest having a meeting with a vampire present. I don't care how screwed up the situation is. We don't work with their kind. You don't care? My mother's dead. Obviously, he cares about that. Look, Thalos is a means to an end. Once Johann is destroyed, we can put all our focus on killing him. Charming. Martinez is the woman, right? I just want my protest noted. Wait, no, Martinez was the guy. I'm an idiot. I just want my protest noted. Who's Harrison? I don't remember. I second his protest. Can the woman talk? I need to try out my Mickey Mouse voice again. It's noted. Let's get on with this. There's a vampire gala at the new Blood Hotel in Laos on Wednesday. So there's going to be a raid after all? We could have been planning this for months. Shut up and listen, Harrison. I beg your pardon? We're not raiding the gala. Why the hell not? Because we're going to get leads on Johann. Dusted vampires can't tell us anything. Tortured vampires can. That information isn't reliable. We're attending the gala. Thalos is our ticket in. Oh, is Davis finally the woman? I think. Right? Maybe.
We're going to send operatives into a blood hotel? Just how big of a team are we talking?
Me, Thalos, and 2 operatives. I'm thinking Depsequali and Everett.
I'm not comfortable with that. If things go south, he'll be surrounded by vampires.
We'll have teams set up on a perimeter. One word from them and we bust in with crossbows blazing.
We might not get to them in time. The safety of our leader and operative shouldn't be compromised.
Yeah, this whole thing is just... We need information. That means infiltrating the gala and talking to Thalos' contact. There is no danger to Dusty or your operatives. Shut it, vampire. When we want your input, we'll ask for it. I want it. Talk. These vampires don't want trouble with Jagrin. Even if they recognize you, they're not going to attack. They'll tolerate your presence as long as you don't bust in with crossbows blazing, particularly if I'm with you. It will be seen as an encouraging sign. All good vampires want a peace treaty with Jagrin. Martinez scoffs, spraying spittle towards me. Is that what you think you are? A good vampire? I got a list of at least 1,000 victims who would beg to differ. You know that I haven't killed anyone for centuries. We don't know that. Let's stay on topic. I agree that the danger to us will be minimal. I was attending a university where the entire faculty are vampires, barely than a week ago. They don't F with us. Thalos bit you. He performed an effing blood ritual on you. Oh, God. Harrison's dramatics aren't to mask fear. His revulsion towards me is genuine. I might almost respect him for his candor. It was a mistake, and he fixed it. I said stay on topic.
I would ask that radio contact is maintained. Every male on our team is inside. The risk could be minimal, but we don't know who's going to show up to this thing. What if Johan decides to go?
He wouldn't demean himself by attending a gala I'm throwing. And why not?
What about launching an attack on your gala?
He has no idea that Jagrin will have a presence there. He's most likely nowhere near Laos. Why wouldn't he attend your gala? What's your history? I'm hoping Brigadier Davis will ignore him again with another question for me, but she doesn't. The room is silent, waiting for an answer. I sired him. We already know that part. We're ex-lovers. We had a breakup. Push. Another spray of spit. It's not my preferred fluid when it comes to mortals. Ugh. Still, disgusting. I didn't need that. Disgusting information. Still, if this much is being expelled from him... He's probably incredibly juicy. Thalos, stop it! Oh, God. Why are you suddenly horny? Damn, I'm hungry. Dalton, you'll lead the strike team guarding the hotel's perimeter. About that, I should be with the infiltrating team, and you should be on the outside, Dusty. I told you, I take the lead on all Johan operations. I know what you said, but you're our leader now. You shouldn't be risking your life. You have to delegate. This won't work if Dalton replaces Dusty. Says who? Anyone sick of him piping in whenever he feels like it? Dusty will draw far less attention than General Dalton. Dusty looks like someone I would date. What? Oh, God. Ugh. General Dalton is known as Jagrin's second-in-command by nearly every vampire. Whatever, it's settled. I won't discuss it any further.
Let's get Everett and Depasequale in here. Sort out the particulars.
One of my guards leaves to fetch him. Martinez takes advantage of the pause to whisper to Harrison, apparently forgetting about my hearing power. Harrison's narrowed eyes are glued on me. If we're not going to Laos, we should get the machines ready to kill this vampire F. Let's see if he survives getting turned into a hamburger. Harrison makes an obnoxious smile. I'll send them both nightmares once these shackles are removed. The penetrating glower Dusty has fixed on them pleases me. At least we have that in common. He was a little too horny at that meeting. A day later, I have a passport. I'm placed on a private jet with Dusty, the two operatives who form the rest of our team, and several uninformed guards. We're traveling in such an extravagant style. I knew Jagerin had resources, but I didn't realize the extent. This is how the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies travel. I should know. I'm one of them. They didn't remove my shackles at any point. Did they expect me to wear them at the gala? I put this aside and tried to allow the soft roar of the jet engine to lull me to sleep. Thalos. I was in the first stages of sleep, but now I'm fully awake. There are two Dusties before me, the one in my mind's eye and the one seated on the leather swiveled chair on the plane across from me. Thalos. I wasn't reading his mind. He's yelling his thoughts to me while keeping me locked in his gaze. Yes, Dusty. Thalos? I close my eyes to see him only as he appears in my mind. I hear you. So, you really can read my mind? I hadn't been, but you got my attention. That dream I had, where I saw you, was that really you? I'm so glad to talk to him, even if it's through furtive thoughts on a quiet plane. You were crying. I hugged you. Don't ever do that again. I didn't know it was real. That isn't typical between a vampire and a familiar. What are you talking about? This rapport. It's true that we can share thoughts, but it's usually more difficult. I've never shared a dream with a familiar before. You're lying. I have no reason to lie. Isn't the vampire-familiar connection well documented by the Jagerin? Telepathy, yes, but the sharing of dreams? It happens with you because you're him, Thalos. There's a ton of weird exceptions when it comes to you. You can go out into the sunlight, you can turn into mist, you can heal people and walk up walls. Dusty, I swear to you, for all the many eons of my existence, I have never shared a dream with a familiar. Why did it happen between us? I don't know. You think our connection is extra special or some crap? Let me tell you something. All I want to do is kill Johann and then kill you. I know. Again, his youth betrays him. If he had more wisdom, he'd know no goodwill will come from a threat to my life. He needs me. He should curry my allegiance. Then you won't have this bullcrap power over me. I'll be free. I won't be distracted by all this crap you put in my head when I'm trying to fix things. I'm sorry. It was a mistake. That doesn't make it any better. My mom is dead. I'm supposed to lead now. You have no idea how effing hard this is. I'm here for you, Dusty. He wants to spew more venom at me, but I realize I've said exactly what he needed to hear. I peek at Dusty sitting before me. His face is crumbling with emotion. I'll help you. Help me kill him. That's what I intend to do. He starts to cry, both in my mind's eye and reality. The poor man hasn't had time to grieve. He lost his mother, the one person he thought would always be there for him. Tears of blood begin to build behind my eyes. At the same time, I grow protective. The two operatives shouldn't see their leader like this. I try to distract them. When I pretended to lift the curse from you back in the university, why did you play along? You saved Luca's life. Thank you for that. He hesitates to answer while avoiding my eyes. What's the meaning of this? I wasn't trying to save anyone's life. About that, the thing is... He chooses his words so carefully. He's fumbling, almost obviously. I didn't expect my question to fluster him. Perhaps he's not ready to admit that he's not as ruthless as his mother. At least not to me. I want to hope this is true, but something else appears to be in play here. Something I can't decipher, even with our minds linked. I mean, obviously, I had to pretend I was cured. I didn't want Harrison knowing I was under your power. It was such a reasonable answer. Why does it sound like a lie? Still, the tension between him and Harrison is obvious. He grows more confident in his story as he continues. I knew my curse couldn't be lifted, at least not by a normal vampire. My whole future is going to be destroyed. I would never be able to lead Jagrin if I was under the power of a vampire. Especially you. Harrison couldn't know. You gave me a way to hide it from him, and I took it. That was some exceptional quick thinking, Dusty. Well, I'm not an idiot, you know. Why would he become defensive? He wouldn't be on guard if he had spoken the truth. So what's the real reason for his covering for me? His subterfuge so intrigues me that I'm almost compelled to press him further. But it's not the time to indulge my curiosity. I wasn't implying you were, Dusty, but you may be surrounded by some Harrison. But you might be surrounded by some. Harrison and Martinez are disloyal. You don't think I know that? There are tons of problems I have to deal with now. I want to help you. Why? You don't even know me. We're connected as master and servants. I'm the master and you're the servant. I told you to call me master, not Dusty. He'd forgotten that. My words reminded him. It still strikes me as the foolish demand of a man-child. I went into that university with the intention of saving a life. I was going to give Milo back his health in exchange for his love. He knew I wanted more than a servant. He accepted this as a means to survive. His parents accepted it. Then you walked in and I was enchanted. You were exactly what I hoped for, Dusty. Stop. Very well. I mean, don't stop right this second. Just finish what you're going to say and then stop. What? He presumed I would continue despite his protest. He wanted me to assume control. But no, how could I behave that way towards a man so deep in his grief? I want to prove my loyalty to him. I bit you with the intention of taking you as my lover. You'd be the one to end my lonesomeness, the one for me to cherish. If it wasn't for your position and the danger I caused my sect, I wouldn't regret the ritual. You're exactly what I've always wanted. What? I can't help but be enamored with you. Our connection has only amplified this. How dare you? I don't consent to any of that. The words sting as hard as a slap to the face. I'd forgotten myself and was rightfully checked. I lost any choice I had in this the second I was forced to swallow your blood. You want someone to love you against their will? Is that how you are? Damn. I almost can't bear. Excuse me. I almost can't bear to hear these truths. Where did the man-child go? He has more wisdom than I gave him credit for. This isn't right. This isn't fair. It was a mistake. I wish I could undo it for you, but I can't. Yet you plan on capitalizing on it, and you said you were good now. I've become ill. I was completely unprepared for his attack, like a lovesick fool, and yet the next words leave my thoughts before I can stop them. You could find solace in our connection. Solace with a vampire? I'd never want to be close to one of you. All I want is to kill you, you disgusting monster. You made my whole life stupid and complicated, right when I needed to be strong. If I had been secretly hoping love would bloom between us... Oops. Not if. I had been secretly hoping love would bloom between us. I might not have admitted to it, even to myself. But now all the hope for such a thing had been dashed. I'm just as distraught as I would be if he dumped me. I dare not pursue Dusty that way. It would be despicable for me to even consider it. He's made that clear. A stake to the heart would have been more subtle. All that remains between us is my obligation to him. I'll compensate you for the pain I've caused. I'll be your devoted servant in the exact manner you wish. My slave. Kinky, but yes. And nothing else is going to happen between us. Ever. Yes. I can barely speak past the lump in my throat. Yes, Master Kinky. Why do I constantly expose my heart to pain? All the eons I've existed were no match for a beautiful face and a gorgeous body. The crash down back to earth is brutal. Too horny all the time, that's your problem. He was never meant to belong to me. Is this the gala in Laos? We're stationed on the rooftops here and here. Ground troops are below, close to the exits. Report in every 10 minutes. If things go south, you say, "Is it cold in here?" You must remove these shackles. I'm getting to that. If Strix transforms, the mission is aborted. We raid the hotel. You got that, vampire? I draw breath to answer. If he runs or even goes out of sight, we raid. Got it? This time I don't bother. This isn't your chance to escape. You run and we kill every vampire in this place. I will obey Dusty and remain in his line of sight. Let's go.
Ah, there's the man of the hour. I'm so glad you made it, Mr. Thalos.
I have guests, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and my date, Dusty.
Enchanted. Go right in.
It was Spinnick. The doorman was Spinnick. You didn't have to say I was your date. It's assumed, and I had to state why you were with me. My heart is still wounded. He looks ridiculous in his red vampire coat. Why aren't you in the closet?
What? Why? What kind of question is that? What? Why? Why aren't you oppressed?
I don't know. I guess I just didn't want to be. I don't understand the question. I've lived too long for such nonsense. At first, I legitimately didn't understand the question. I was like, in the closet? What does that even mean? Why would he be in a closet? I was just so confused. The hotel rooms are up the stairs? You'll be stopped if you try to go up alone. I'll escort you once I put in an appearance at the gala.
Ooh, Randy? It sounds like a Texan.
What are we supposed to do while you're schmoozing? Mingle, have some wine, eat something. It'll be easier to approach if it's just me and Dusty.
Why is there so much food?
Most of these guests are mortal.
Really? Who's coming to this thing?
The administrative staff, familiars, friends of vampires, as well as business associates have no idea what kind of hotel this is, or that vampires even exist.
Jesus.
Ugh.
We need to report in.
You better not give us a reason to raid this place.
I won't.
Might as well try some food, huh? I mean, look at this spread.
I'm starving.
Very professional vampire hunters you brought here.
Just absolutely excellent. But, that's where I'm going to end this episode, guys. I have a feeling something's going to go wrong and this place might get raided. I have a feeling that might happen. But we're going to find that out on the next episode, so I hope you all enjoyed this video of Vampire Slave, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.